everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Grace SN, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Grace. I've said that like 100 times already. So basically, remember how I said in my other video that every Wednesday you guys will be having like medical series. So yeah, I decided to do a second MBBS series, so that I'll explain everything about the second MBBS, what you need to know about the MBBS exam, the resources, the textbooks and all. I already posted a video, or rather I've uploaded a video, the first video on the MBBS series, and I've already created a playlist for the MBBS series so that it will be easier to locate the resource and information. So I've uploaded a video already on the textbooks I used in my second MBBS, and funny enough I forgot to include the histology textbook and the embryology textbook I used, but I'm going to leave the names of the books in that video. So if you want to know what I use, you have to go back to that video and check the description box where I put like a list of books, and I'll try and put links on how to download it. I'm not promising, but I'll try my best to look for links and put in the other video. So let's get right into this video. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about the MBBS, the second MBBS, and what you really need to know about it. So I'm going to divide this video into two parts. I'll be talking about the overall, how the scores, how you write the test, and the percentage that goes for the test and the percentage that goes for the exam, and what exactly you should expect for the exams, the nature of the exam, and how they're going to, you know what, I'm just going to divide this into two so that you will not have too many in one video, and so that you understand how this works. So this particular video I'll be talking about the tests, and the part 2 of it will be the exam format. So I just felt like you guys should know that and understand that. So today I'm talking about the anatomy, physiology, and the biochemistry, and how it is broken down and how the curriculum is. So I want to start with the most tedious, which is the anatomy. So the anatomy here is divided into histology, where they talk about the cells and tissues. Talking about the embryology, the second division is the embryology, where they talk about the development right from the day 1 of fertilization to the 9th month. Talking about the anatomy, the gross anatomy, that is what you see inside the body, the gross anatomy of it. We're going to look at that's the structure, gross anatomy. So it's divided into 3 parts. And another thing again, I normally divide anatomy into 4, but they always say it's 3. But the 4th one I want to give it the practical sessions, where you look at the gross anatomy of a human. That's 4 for me, the practical sections. So I'm going to talk about all of them, the anatomy in different sections. Now the histology, they normally talk about the cells, the tissues that comprises a particular part. Now let me give an example. So now I want to talk about the skin. They'll tell you about the different layers of the skin that you can see under the microscope. That's the dermis, the epidermis, the different layers of the skin, the corny layer, the stratified layer, you know, the epitheliums and everything. And this histology is taught in 2 different ways. They go to class and teach you about the theory aspect of it, the pictures and micrographs, while you go to the lab, the histology lab, when you use the microscope to see it with your own eyes, the different layers of the skin in a microscopical level, like a microscope, like in a magnified way. When you're talking about the small in a magnified way, that is the histology. Then it's all pink and pink. Trust me, when you start here, you will not be able to differentiate between the skin or the different parts of the large intestine, different parts of the gastrointestinal tract, until you look at it for like a very long time. I'll not lie, it was my year 3 that I started seeing things. It was my year 3 that I started differentiating between this from this, and started knowing the different structure, like the columnar and the just know that you're going to understand it microscopically after you keep on looking at it for a very long time. Don't just see the first day and say, oh yes, I know this. No, you're going to keep on looking at it and you're going to tell which is which. That is for the histology. Now for the embryology, we're going to talk about the development, the formation, the week of twos. We're going to talk about the sperm maturation, the egg maturation, what happens in the ova, what happens in the ovary, not the ova, sorry. What happens in the ovary, spermatogenesis, genesis. I'm going to talk about all those things, development right from scratch. To talk about the formation, and the things that happen, the formation of the eye, the lungs, the GIT, the liver, the diaphragm, the heart. We are going to learn all those structures one by one, how everything was formed, the development. That's everything about embryology. Then for the gross anatomy, we'll talk about what you see with your eyes. The gross look like, the macroscope of it. Well, remember I said histology is a microscopical view. Thank you, sir. It's okay now. Yeah, so the microscopical views from histology, then the macroscope, what you can see with your eyes, it's going to be the gross anatomy, where you talk about the bones, the blood vessels, the arteries, the veins, the nerves that innervate your hand, the bones of the fingers, the phalanges. They talk about the eye. Like the gross anatomy here is what just basically what you see grossly, the in and the out. So that is it for gross anatomy. Then we also have the practical lab, the anatomy lab, where you go into work on the cadavers. This is where the dead teach the living. When you work on the cadavers, you see the internal structures, you remove the heart, you see the heart, the liver, the lungs, you just basically see the internal structure. What you cannot see inside with your eyes, you go to the lab, then dissect with your manual guiding you. That is for anatomy. So now, going into the test, I just feel like I should give you guys an overview. Going into the test is over 30 in my school. So basically what they do in my school is that we have three different tests. So it's going to be test 1, 2, 3, and it will be over 10. Test 1 will have over 10, test 2 over 10, test 3 over 10, then it will now be summed up to be over 30. You now get to score over 30. So for anatomy, it's divided into 3 parts. You write 3 different tests in the 3 different divisions. So let's just call it 6 tests for anatomy. So you write 3 tests in histology, 3 tests in embryology. Did I say 6? I'm sorry, 9. And 3 tests in gross anatomy. So you're going to write like 9 tests in 1 semester under anatomy. So now these 9 tests, somehow they're like fractions of this anatomy as a course. So the good thing about this is that even if you don't do so well in your histology and you do well in your embryology and your gross anatomy, it's a cover up. It's a lap. So it's actually a good thing, Sha. It's nice. So even if you do well in histology, just try your best to do well in your embryology and your anatomy so that you can cover up for it. Because at the end of the day, it's still going to be under one heading, anatomy. I'm done with that. Then okay, I think I should also say this. The anatomy, the gross anatomy, they'll talk about the upper limbs and the lower limbs. Then I think that's for first semester. Second semester, they talk about the abdomen, the thorax and the abdomen. Yes, they talk about thorax, abdomen, pelvis and perineum in second semester, and that is the worst semester because you have a lot of things to capture, you have a lot of things to know. So that's it. Then the third semester, that is always year 3. It's always the neuroanatomy. Talk about the brain, the spinal cord, anyway. I'll have a different video for that later. Then moving on to physiology. Physiology, well, there's an order that you follow in physiology. So basically, physiology is divided into parts, but not like the anatomy that has different course names like histology and biology. No, physiology is physiology, but I like the fact that physiology is divided into, like, you have the cardiovascular, you have the endocrinology, you have the neurophysiology. Like, you learn all this in different parts so that there'll be a flow. There's blood and cardiovascular, there's respiratory physiology, so it's really interesting. You have to learn one, like, bit by bit. There's even renal physiology, that's the kidney and renal system physiology. It's very, very interesting. And for physiology, the same thing. You have your test in different sections. Like, you have the physiology in, you have your test in renal physiology, you have your test in cardiovascular physiology, you have your test in respiratory physiology, you have your test in endocrine physiology. But at the end of the day, all these are still under the umbrella of physiology. Yeah, and it's also over 30. And for biochemistry, you also have, like, carbohydrate biochemistry, protein biochemistry, lipids biochemistry. You have the special topics. I'm missing one, but basically they're all divided into subtopics, subheadings and everything, but they still fall under the umbrella of biochemistry. So the biochemistry, you have your test, and it's still going to be over 30, and you have the physiology test over 30, and then you have the anatomy over 30. So it's still good. It's good to have those tests because it will help you to boost your scores for your main MBBS exam, that is 70 marks, which I'll be talking about in the next video. So this is just an overview to have an idea of what to do in anatomy, physiology, biochemistry. Biochemistry talking about the protein metabolism, the amino acids, the carbohydrate, talk about how the food is digested, talk about molecules. Like, it's fun, it's interesting. It's all fun and good until you fail your test. No, I'm not saying fail your test. If you read, you actually pass, but it's all funny. And I forgot to say that the pass mark for medicine is 50. So try your best to get above 50 in everything you do. Yeah. So that's it. So watch out for the next video, the part 2 of this video, where I'll be talking about the breakdown of the exams and what you expect for the exam, the things to write, because the exam is also divided into, like, parts. You don't write all in one day for one course. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this video was informative enough. Thank you.